Hey everybody, continuing on with the Excel book, we are going to continue on with Lesson 7, Project 7A. Very practical formulas and functions and techniques, especially for all of those of you going into finance and or business. So this particular section, and I believe also 8, is going to be particularly useful for you. So what do we got? We are on page 480, I think it is. 480. And the files we have to have open are loan and costs. Loan and costs. What I'm going to do, I know I have it somewhere, so I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to grab loan. And of course I have the answers here somewhere. Solution. So I'm going to keep that guy open for us and get rid of you. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to look for the correct file. Loan and costs. Not the solution. E07A, loan and costs. So we got the solution and we got the file. Yay. Okay. And I really like this a lot. Enable editing. It's not an easy exercise. I won't lie to you guys. It's not easy, but it's absolutely necessary in today's business world to know these techniques. And I think they're fun. Okay. Back to the book we go. So when we're done, we will have created, I think it's going to look something like that. Oh, something like that. Yes, it does. So we're going to go to the next page. Give it a second. And we're going to use financial functions. My advice regarding financial functions is don't be afraid of them. And there's a lot of really brilliant YouTube videos out there for teaching you guys the stuff that you need to know. I've already told you about a couple of them, and I'll make sure that there are some other resources available. Shut up, Deb. Do the video. So financial functions are pre-built formulas that make common business calculations, such as calculating a loan payment on a vehicle or calculating how much to save each month to buy something. Financial functions commonly involve a period of time, such as months or years. Yes, indeed. So they talk about whether, again, do me a favor, guys, read the text. Super important. Okay. So if anytime it costs money to borrow money, no kidding. That money, that cost is called interest. And loans are typically made for a period of years, and the interest must be paid as a percentage of the loan amount that is still owed. And this is called the rate. The amount of loan, when you that amount that you first download, that's called PV or present value. And you'll probably hear me slip into a couple of other terms. I'll try and be as consistent as I can. And PV, future, NPER is number of payments, FV, future value. So hopefully, if I've got a loan and on my future value is down 5 years down the line, I hope that my loan future value is 0 because I paid it off. So let's go have a look at what this stuff is going to teach us. Yeah, future value is usually 0 for loans. What am I? Never mind. So in this activity, we're going to create a monthly payment that Jesse Jewelers was made to finance the purchase of the furniture and fixtures for the new store in Houston. The total cost is $300,000, and we are going to calculate the monthly payments, including interest, for a 3-year loan at an annual interest rate of 4%. Okay, keep that in mind. So we know it's going to be monthly payments. We know that we're borrowing $300,000, and we know that it's 3 years. and the interest rate is 4%. So we got all the information we need. And the other key thing is, how much can Elena afford? Her monthly payment can be not much more than $8,000. So I feel a goal seek coming on here, guys. So we've gone to the folder. We've downloaded loan and costs. And if necessary, we've enabled editing. I don't know if we did or didn't. Nope, because I had it on my hard drive. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be in the new Houston store loan options. So Houston new store loan worksheet. Let's get rid of you because you're in my way. Let's get rid of you because you're in my way. And let's have a look at this. You've got Houston payment table, quarterly merchandise, and annual. I will be adding additional exercises for most of what we're going to be covering in the book. So we're in the right place. So we know how much we're borrowing. We know how many years we have to pay it back. 3 years, and it's monthly payment. So 3 times 12. And how much is my interest rate per year or per annum is 4%. And so how much is my payment going to be per month? So what we're going to do is we are going to use a function called the PMT. And if you leave me with knowing nothing more, one of those pieces of information I want you to really know well is the PMT. So I'm going to go to cell B5. Then we're going to go to the formula tab, function group, financial, and I'm going to get snippy because I had to scroll down and find the PMT. So once I've found it, you might have to move it around a bit so you can see column A and B. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to slow down and we're going to start filling in the boxes. Okay. So my result is going to be in B5, payment per month. So then formula tab, function library, I am getting snippy, where's financial? And there is a lot of scrolling to be done. PMT. Okay. Now there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, but we want to pay attention only to the boxes that text are bolded. So we need to have something in the rate box. We must have something in the N per box, and we must have something in the PV box. The last two guys, FV or type, they're not necessary. That's why they're not bolded. And future value, probably 0. And the type, it's either a 0 or a 1. And it's when is the loan due, or when is the loan payment? Is it the beginning of the month or the end of the month? So for our purposes, we really don't care. So we don't care about FV and we don't care about type. So let's click in the rate box. And what it's going to be, because the interest rate is annual and because the payments are monthly, what we have to do is click on cell B4. And then we're going to divide it by 12. Division symbol and 12. Because there's 12 monthly payments per year and the interest rate is 4% per year. Okay. Let me come back and do that again for you. Okay. Which cell has the interest rate? B4 has the interest rate. And because it's 12 monthly payments, we're going to divide it by the number 12. Speaking of numbers of payments, how many are there? And we've got 3 years. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. 3 years, and every year has 12 monthly payments. So it's 3 times 12. So 12, 24, 36. Okay. Oh, that's right. So B3 multiplied by 12. So the number of years multiplied by 12 is going to give us 36 payments. I got a little ahead of myself. So N per the B3. And this time I'm going to multiply it by the number 12. Because 3 years, every year has 12 months. So 3 times 12 gives us 36. Present value. Okay. Now this is where I do things slightly differently. They will catch up with me, or I will catch up with them, but I'm going to do it exactly the way the book is, and we'll take it from there. So the PV, or present value, okay, and it represents the present value, the amount of the loan before any payments are made, and at this point, it's $300,000. Okay. So we're going to type in B2, okay? Now, it's going to give us a problem, and I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, but we're going to fix it. We don't need anything for FV. We don't need anything for type. So the one thing you're going to be aware of, when we do this right now, we're going to get a negative value. Sometimes you can work with it, sometimes you can't. There is a way to fix it. And again, we're going to do the book way, and then I'll show you a slightly different way. Both are equally good. There's nothing that is better or worse than the other. So, okay. So at this point, every month for 3 years, Elena's payments is going to be $8,857.20. It's represented as a negative number because you've got red and it's in brackets or parentheses. Now, normally, not an issue. However, there are some functions and formulas you've got to have a positive value. Okay, so this negative value works sometimes ish. Okay. Notice that the function arguments dialog box, that the value of each argument is displayed to the right of the argument box. We notice that. Yep. And the optional arguments are those last two guys, the ones on the bottom, the PV, FV, or future value. I paid off a loan. How much is it worth? 0. I paid it off. And when is the payment due? The payment type is it, if it's not specific, it assumes it's going to be made at the end of each period, unless otherwise indicated. But majority of times, we don't put anything in there. There's no need for it. So instruction number 10, in the lower right corner of the function argument box, you're going to click on the OK. We did. We discovered it's a negative value, minus, and we can see that in cell B5. The number that will be paid out. So her monthly payments are going to be $8,857.20. And clearly that's larger than the $8,000 she feels that she can afford or has budgeted for. Alrighty. So you've done that. Number 11. So now we're going to go back to the formula bar. And then we're going to put the minus sign between the equal sign and the PMT. All right, so it's going to be minus the PMT. Okay, weird, but let's do it. So in the formula bar, put my insertion point between the equals and the PMT. I'm going to press the minus key and enter. So it says, do you guys remember 2 negatives make a positive? And so that way we're forced into being a positive value. And by placing a minus sign in the formula, the monthly payment amount of $8,857.20 is now in B5. It's a positive value, which is more familiar for us and simpler for us to work with. And in some of what we're going to be working with, you must have it in a positive value. It doesn't work any other way. So I'm going to give it a save. Get to the end of the page.